And so we have to figure out, what do we do with this knowledge? I had someone today message me to say, stop making this a black thing, because no, if you do that, they're going to stop caring. First of all, I can't make anything. I'm following data. But number two, think about how damning it is to say that if it's just about you, no one will care. And that part of the
Yeah.
statement wasn't actually wrong.
But now you started to bring some real smoke. But I want Angela and I want AOC to jump in here. Now we got some smoke going. Angela, you got some smoke?
Yeah, and I think that we have some folks here, one, a mayor on the ground who's dealing with the crisis of what it is for Black people in New Orleans. And of course, Dr. Jones, the stuff that you have pulled in terms of the sheer numbers, the ways in which we're impacted and disproportionately so, just some of the statistics, 70% of the people who died from COVID-19 in Chicago are Black. Right. So we're not talking about like some little fly-by-night numbers. We're talking about huge numbers. I was on a town hall earlier, and Brittany Packnett Cunningham was saying that people often talk about Wisconsin like it's just cheese and cows, but there's a whole Black city called Milwaukee, and folks in Milwaukee overwhelmingly and adversely impacted. To me, this is one of those things where we have to say for a long time, before we have Black Lives Matter as a mantra, right? People who were pleading with the government for our lives. People were pleading with the government for our health, for our economic stability and viability. Then we got a mantra, Black Lives Matter, after Trayvon was killed. Well, now we're saying that, but the only thing they will agree with us on is Black Workers Matter. Why? Because they're all the same. Right to the point. So whether it's someone who's coming to pick up your trash, it is someone that's a security guard at your building, it's someone who has to risk their life for you. That Black worker matters, but their survival does not. And that is the bridge that we have to cross. All of a sudden, people care, right? If you can come and do the work. Right, it's something that we've known since the beginning since the first slave ships that came to these shores. Your work matters, but you're not worthy of survival. There's always going to be another worker, and that's something that we can no longer afford. If we don't accomplish anything else tonight, Puff, I hope it is that there is a bridge that must be crossed tonight, that Black lives matter, Black workers matter, Black people matter, Black churches matter, but you better do it on live stream, right? Like there are a bunch of things that we have to cross to get this right.
This is definitely the start. This is the start of the conversation. AOC, do you have something else to say?
Yeah, no, it's like Angela is saying it all right now, because it really calls into question, why it's not just do Black Lives Matter, but why do they matter to you? Because for a lot of people, they cannot cross that bridge that she's talking about. And like, we shouldn't care about Black families and Black communities because they're the ones that deliver groceries and they're the ones that stock our shelves. And it's because of what the utility is to another person. We should care about each other because of the fundamental human value of life. And we have to see each other as brother and sister in a real way, in a real way. And all of that, it translates into some of the decisions that we're talking about, like what Charles brought up in terms of why we care about some things and what policies. When you look at the emergency policies, some of the things that we're pushing for, I mentioned earlier that Rikers is in my district. We have been pushing to decarcerate these jails for weeks because they are a ticking time bomb. We had the first case pop up in Rikers confirmed, but once you get that first confirmed case, you know that there may be dozens others because these tests are so hard to come by that they don't give tests to everyone exhibiting symptoms. And lo and behold, weeks later, now you have dozens of people that are caged right now and prison workers that are in there, and it is spreading like wildfire. And yet we're still having resistance to releasing people on elderly clemency, to ending pretrial detention. The first COVID death on Rikers was from a person who had a simple civic parole violation, not even a crime. Not that it even matters, because nobody, no matter what you do, should die in the indignified way of not having access to healthcare because you are trapped in a cage. And so on top of that, you get the fact that they are putting prisoners on Rikers and sending them to Hart Island to dig mass graves, being paid slave wages. This is all confirmed by The Intercept in the city. Being confirmed to dig mass graves on Hart Island to bury the bodies, to bury the very own bodies of our community that is dying unnecessarily because of a failure of leadership from our administration, rather the president's administration, and just political leadership in general. It's the lack of prioritization of Black lives. And the reason that that's important is because we must always center the most impacted communities, because that uplifts all communities.
Team, subscribe for more of these type of videos.